Roads with me, Rami Rhodes, and I am a senior at Chalice High School. As a part of my senior project, I am recording, producing, and publishing a podcast series. This podcast will primarily be candid interviews conducted by me with a diverse selection of individuals public to enjoy and learn from. Throughout the school year, I hope to publish a podcast every few weeks for people to enjoy, and I hope you will be entertained. And for my inaugural podcast episode, I have chosen to interview the Chalice School District Superintendent, also the Chalice Junior Senior High School Principal, and most importantly, or as some of you may know, my aunt, Mrs. Lani Rembelski. Thank you for your time, Mrs. Rembelski, and welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
So can you just give me like a 30-second introduction onto like who you are and what you do?
My name's Lani Rembelski, and I was born and raised in Chalice. Went to Idaho State University to get my degree in elementary education, and then taught in Montpelier, Idaho for about 10 years as a first grade, second grade teacher, and then moved back to Chalice and been in Chalice almost 20 years now. Taught kindergarten, and then went into first grade, taught junior high, and now I worked as the elementary principal, and now the junior senior high school principal while I'm the superintendent.
So I thought it was kind of interesting how you said elementary, like what's the word, like teaching, kind of. So there's like specific kind of levels for that kind of thing. How does that kind of work?
So when getting my degree,
yeah, and that kind of thing with different.
So you can get an early education degree, which is primarily teaching kindergarten through or preschool through second grade, or you can get an elementary degree, which is kindergarten through 8th grade. And then your middle school, high school degree is you can get one from 6th to 12th grade or 9th to 12th grade. So my degree is in elementary education, so K through 8. I have a literacy specialist degree, so I can teach literature K through 12, and then I have a master's degree in administration, and then an EDS, which is an educational specialist degree, to be a superintendent.
All right. Yeah, because I didn't really know. I kind of like figured, but I didn't know it was like specifically broken down into that, so that's
just
interesting.
Areas, yeah, for sure.
It's kind of a oddball question. What music do you listen to when you're going to work in the morning?
So probably my preference is country music, but as you know, your cousins listen to some pretty interesting, not the rap, but I would say pop music. There's some songs that they've gotten me to listen to that I've enjoyed as well. Not the rap.
And do you think it'd be different if you had to drive like a long way by yourself? What would you choose in that kind of situation, do you think?
Music to listen to?
Yeah.
So I have Spotify, and I have a range of different genres on there. Again, from country to pop to some hard rock, 80s rock, that type of thing. So if it's a long trip, I listen normally to Spotify, because the radio, you don't get very good reception.
Yeah, going up.
Yes.
How would you like further describe what you do as your position to like someone who's not quite as superintendent, who's not quite understands that kind of work?
Okay, so in the superintendent role or the principal role?
Just for right now, superintendent role.
As superintendent.
Yeah.
So my job as a superintendent is to oversee the district. So I'm looking at our district's pretty big. We go from Stanley to Patterson, but as you're well aware, Patterson, Prisumerai, that school isn't open anymore.
Yeah.
And then, so I oversee policy, procedures, the budget, hiring, and then the different departments. So we have the food service department, we have the maintenance department, transportation department, and then the elementary school, the junior senior high school, and then Stanley School. So I oversee all of those to make sure they're operating. We have staff to fill the positions that we need, and then making sure that I'm following the procedures, policies set forth by the school board, and then working with the school board. So my bosses, I have 5 bosses, which is the school board.
And how do those like interactions usually go with the school board? Is it more?
We have a very supportive school board. Brett Plummer, who's our board chair, he's been been a board member since I became superintendent, but he listens. The interactions, we've talked about making sure that there's always transparency, that if they need to be aware of something that's happening within the district, I'm communicating with them. If they're hearing things, they direct people to me, but making sure we always have open lines of communication. And our 5 board members have really been outstanding, and they really support the teachers, they support the students. You haven't gone to a board meeting, have you? Present ever?
No, I don't think I have ever, no.
We'll have to make sure that you get the opportunity, because they love to hear the students come and present, whether they've gone on trips or senior projects that they're doing, athletics. Yep. We have a very supportive board.
Yeah, I might be interested in doing that sometime.
All those.
Why did you choose admin teaching, like subject kind of job as a long-term career? Like, how did that kind of come about?
When I was younger and in kindergarten, I had half-day kindergarten. And so I'd go some days waiting to go to afternoon kindergarten. I'd get to sit in my dad's classroom, and he was a junior high math teacher. And so that was probably my first glimpse into teaching. And I thought that was pretty cool, because Dad would let me sit up at the front of the classroom at an extra desk. And then later in high school, I had the opportunity through the classroom aide to aid in a 2nd grade classroom a couple years at the elementary. And I really enjoyed working with the elementary teacher and that grade level.
Is there kind of like a specific thing that you like really enjoyed about it, or was it?
What was really fun is seeing when it clicked for a student and being able to show them different ways of teaching something, and then for the light bulb to come on, and just the enthusiasm. 2nd graders, I really enjoyed. I enjoy all levels. The kindergarten level was the most interesting, just from the standpoint they come in pretty much independent and have their own agenda, and then it's fun to see them come together working within a group. And yeah, so I enjoyed seeing that moment when the light bulb comes on and they really enjoy learning and asking questions.
And so then how did that kind of transition from kind of that more direct working with the kids to more the higher up kind of level that you are now as superintendent or principal? How did that kind of translate or transition into that?
Well, when I first started teaching, I wanted to be in admin, but as life goes, I had my own kids and raised them, and so it didn't work well. And when they were a little bit older, going into junior high school, I was able to go back and get my degree in becoming a principal, so a master's degree. And then that's how I got my foot in the door with administration in Chalice.
Right. And early on, like even as like a child, were there other options you were kind of considering, or was it always just this lane?
I have always really enjoyed teaching. I babysat a little bit growing up, but I've just always enjoyed working with kids. Your poor mother, my youngest sister, she had to endure many hours of me instructing her with her little cardboard desk that I had made for her, and she was my student. That's why she loves school so much now. It just always was I have always really enjoyed the teaching aspect, whether it was in school setting or training horses. I helped some kids learn how to ride and did some riding lessons and things like that. I just enjoy doing that. So I really didn't have I didn't think of other options. I took an aptitude test when I was in college, and it came out that I would like law enforcement. And I remember the professor talking to me and telling me, I don't know if you should go into teaching. I think you might get bored with it. And I, to this day, laugh and would like to go back to that professor and say, every day is an adventure in education. Not too boring at all.
So what does kind of like your daily routine look like, either from starting at the school or like starting at home? Like what's kind of the daily look like?
I get up in the morning, get ready, get to school. One of my favorite things to do at the elementary and at the junior senior high is to greet the students. First thing in the morning before the students come is to go say a quick hello to all the teachers, make sure I say that in the mornings. And then it just really depends once students arrive what my day looks like. And it's intermingled with either the junior senior high principal responsibilities or superintendent responsibilities. And not one day is the same because each day new things pop up or finishing paperwork, things like that.
What are some kind of hobbies that you enjoy in your free time?
I definitely enjoy sports, and I also enjoy riding horses, which when we moved back to Chalice, that changed just because my kids were involved in so many things. So things at home, I love to bake. I also like to do scrapbooks for my kids, or just of memories, places that we've gone. So those are some of my hobbies.
How kind of involved are you with the role of hiring for new positions in the school district?
So at the junior senior high level, I would be the go-to person as far as hiring any of our certified teachers, and then also our paraprofessionals working with the special ed department. Department heads like food service, maintenance, transportation, the district office, I would also hire in those. But my department heads are normally, when they're hiring in positions, they bring the recommendations to me and give me an idea of their background experience, and then I recommend them to the board. Same thing with the elementary principal for the elementary school and then Stanley School.
What would you say is one of the hardest parts of your position?
The hardest part of my position would be working with students that I know that this is probably the safest place for them, and knowing that they're going home to maybe not ideal conditions, and that's hard, and seeing them go through those struggles. But I'm happy every day when they show up to school. Another difficult piece of my position would be whether it's staff or parents as adults, when there's conflicting views, and really trying to be a mediator between whether it's parents and staff or students and staff, and try to reach a common ground. And when you're dealing with people, emotions can be pretty high. So sometimes that's pretty difficult.
And all that kind of sounds like pretty stressful. So how do you kind of like deal with some of that stress, or how do you just kind of take your mind off it in a way?
One of the things that I've really tried to learn to do is not take anything personal. People, when they're angry or upset about something, it isn't necessarily towards me. It's the situation. And so try to help them get to the facts and what the real issue is, and try to work a solution. And other things that I do is I make sure walk my dogs every night. So exercise, have some workouts. Those are some great stress relievers. And listening to music is something that would take my mind, so I'm not replaying the day.
So you're kind of saying kind of like a short-term memory, but not like has to kind of keep it moving kind of thing, idea.
For sure. And sleep is another thing I really try to make sure that I get, at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, because that really does make a difference.
What is kind of like a key quality you look for like when hiring someone?
In our district, the biggest quality I look for is collaboration and also the ability to work independently, because like at the elementary, there's one teacher per grade level. And so they need to be able to work independently, but also be able to collaborate if you're a first grade teacher with the kindergarten teacher and the second grade teacher, to make sure that you're continuing the education for the student. And I also look for their openness, friendliness, because students would like to approach somebody that they feel comfortable with and that they care. And they're not here, it's not a job. It's something that they really want to do and they're passionate about. So I look really for that collaboration, honesty, confident, independent, knowledgeable individual.
So there was kind of a murmurs, I guess, of like a phone policy, like a no phone policy. And I kind of wanted to know more about that, because I felt like I would hear like rumors of it, but not the full scope, I suppose.
So one of the things the governor had passed down in legislation, the no phones in the classrooms. And then there's a policy that's designed around that. And our district had a phone policy, which we really give the teachers the choice of how they want to use cell phones in their classrooms. And the majority of the teachers, I think, allow students to use their phones, whether academic or maybe when they finish up their assignments. And then there's some teachers that don't allow them. So I've given it more in the hands of the teachers at this point. There are a few issues with cell phones, and they do complicate things on a day-to-day. But overall, I think our kids are pretty responsible with their phones, enough to say that we don't need to get rid of cell phones. But I have heard districts in Idaho that are starting to just completely get rid of cell phones.
What was your favorite childhood cartoon or movie?
My favorite cartoon would have been on Saturday morning. Tom and Jerry was the everyday cartoon, but if I got up early enough, 6 o'clock, Smurfs were on first thing. But I had to get up at 6. So if I got up early enough, watch Smurfs.
I'd say.
Yeah.
If you could go to a music concert, Broadway musical, or any other show right now, who would it be and why?
All right. So I do like music concerts and used to go to a lot of them, but now they're super expensive. Yeah. I feel like Zach Bryan was the concert that I went with my daughter, and it was a lot of fun to attend. Country music would probably be Morgan Wallen, Lainey Wilson, Chris Stapleton are ones that I think would be fun to attend. I have attended a Broadway show in New York, and it was a lot of fun. I got to go with your mom and all my sisters, and that was a great experience. So if I had the opportunity to attend one, I'm really not into theater, but I'm sure if I was in New York, I would attend another one. It was a great experience.
Yeah. What is your favorite place you have ever been to on Earth? Like the one favorite place?
So Chalice obviously is my favorite place, and that sounds funny, but I keep coming back to Chalice. But I've really enjoyed the opportunities that I've had. I've had the opportunity to visit Italy and Spain. Probably the place that I would really like to visit, and I've always thought Alaska was the place for the Northern Lights, but I think it's Greenland or Iceland is where you can see the Northern Lights the best. So I think that would be a really cool thing to see.
Yeah. And if you could go any place on Earth that you have not been, where would that be?
I think maybe where I could see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Although I've heard, not Australia, New Zealand
Oh.
is a very cool
Mhm.
place to go. And I think your parents, they went to, what island have they gone to?
I'm trying to remember. Puerto Rico?
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Or like near New Zealand or?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Anyway, they went to some islands a couple times, and that would be fun to see. They talked about the water and the bugs in the water that lit up the water. Do you remember those stories?
I feel like I do.
Yeah.
By a woman.
So anyway, I can't remember all of a sudden where that was. I just think visiting anywhere just to see the culture, like going to Italy and Spain, everything was so old. And then they were just building on top of their old structures and using things from the past. So the experience was really cool, and the people were super kind in both those locations, really family oriented.
So like, I guess somewhat related, where have like all the places that you've like kind of lived?
Where I've lived. Yeah. I have lived, of course, in Chalice. And then I went to school in Pocatello at Idaho State University. After that, my husband got a job in Boise. So I attended a semester at Boise State University. So I lived in Boise, and I really liked Boise. It was just, I think it was the first time we had money because he had a real job. Yeah. And that was fun. And then we moved back to Pocatello, and then we went to Montpelier. And I taught, that was my first teaching job. I taught there for 10 years. And then we moved back to Chalice.
I'm talking about like that first teaching job. How was it kind of like nerve-wracking to actually have to go out there, and did you like make mistakes kind of?
Oh, for sure. I was really fortunate with my first teaching job. So I student taught in Montpelier because that's where Steve, my husband, had a job. Yeah. And I taught with an outstanding group. There were 3 women that I taught with, and they taught me so much in my student teaching. And then one of them had to go help her daughter. So I was able to long-term sub in her position, in that second grade position, for the rest of the year. And then when the position opened up, because she didn't return, I was able to apply and get that position. And my first year, was very rough, just from the standpoint of learning all the tricks and trades and classroom management to the instructional piece. But I really had a great team that supported me. My administration supported me, had great opportunities to attend. Back then, we didn't have online learning. Yeah. So I had to go in person to different classes. So yeah, there were definitely, every year there is tough moments in teaching because every group is different. My junior, senior high year, when I first came back to Chalice, that was the position that I came into. I went from teaching second grade, first grade for 10 years, and then into junior high. And I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be simple. And it was a wonderful experience for me to know, coming from elementary, where you're with your class all day long, to having 7 class periods with different students, and understand the difference between elementary and junior, senior high, because they are 2 very different environments. And that was a rough year, just because normally when the kids come in for second grade, they like it. They're excited to learn. Juniors or junior high students are not always that excited about learning. So I had to transition and really, again, I had a team of teachers here that were very supportive in the administration. So everything is a challenge in life, and you can use it as, I'm never going to do this again, or use it as, okay, how can I make things better? How can I help? How can I learn from this? And I have found in life, having people around you, whether it was the staff, my dad was super helpful as far as talking to him, talking through issues and how to handle things. My mom was as well. Steve was. And so just having a strong support made a huge difference.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a easier transition on that like kind of first job. It was just like, instead of like just being thrown in there, it was kind of transitioned a lot
Made a
easier.
huge difference. And I would say for any teacher coming into education, if they can find a really great experience, student teaching experience, because I've talked with even family that have gone into education and their first student teaching experience was awful. And so they never taught again. And they would have been outstanding teachers. So finding the right people is important because it's a very rewarding job, for sure.
That's great. And lastly, is there any questions that you are dying to like ask me that I can actually answer right now?
Yeah, for sure. So why are you doing podcast?
I chose to do podcast because I always listen to a lot of podcasts, whether like changing pipe or just working or doing whatever, basketball even. And I always kind of enjoyed the kind of form of it, and a big like personal, I guess, kind of policy that I follow is hearing a lot of different perspectives. I'm try to be open, even if it's something I like vehemently disagree with or something like that. I'm like hearing other perspectives and kind of rationalizing their perspective sometimes, and also just understanding people in general, and just kind of like, oh, I didn't really think about that, and that kind of changes this. And I'm often not good at like just asking people directly about something, and this kind of provides like a thing for me to actually like learn something else, something more about certain people that I probably would have never asked.
That's really yeah. And are your podcasts, are they usually like 30-minute or just it just depends?
The ones that I listen to depends on like what it is. Like the more like strict uniform ones like that are produced by like big companies, it's usually like an hour long.
Oh wow.
And then like the ones that are like they're reading stories, it can be like 5 hours long of them just reading the story or whatever, just them talking. But most I'd say like range around like an hour.
So do you think this is something you want to do in the future? Some type of broadcasting podcasts, things like that?
I think it would be fun, but I'm not sure if it's like something that I'd like want to do as a job kind of thing. Like I would see it like more as a hobby if I did get super invested into it, not as like something that I'd want to like, because I think it's fun. Yeah, because I wouldn't really like choose it as a job, because I feel like it'd become too much like work and like too strict for me to do it, and I don't think it'd become fun for me anymore.
So you like this more as a, like you're saying, in a hobby, but the fun side, not providing for your family.
Yeah.
Type plan.
Pretty much.
Nice. So out of your senior project, and I know when students get up to their senior year, they grumble about the senior project. Do you find that this has helped prepare you for possibly things in the future once you leave?
Like what do you mean specifically? Like
just maybe giving you a glimpse of what after school will be like as far as in the job, whether you go to college or into the workforce. Do you think your senior project with the 4 different things you have to put together helps you?
I think in some ways, but like me personally, I feel like I kind of like had those things put together in a way, kind of like how, but that's just me personally, where I could kind of like understood and like wrap my head around like, okay, this is kind of how it will work, and it's not going to be like this when you're actually out there, and it's more serious. And yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This has been fun. I'm excited to hear the rest of your podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, one more quick question.
Okay.
What are like your main goals for like this year, or like main things that you want to like really target on for like improvement?
One of the things I'd really like to improve within the district is, as students, you guys are obligated, you have to take the state tests, and then we have some benchmark tests, and to really look at those tests and see the students that are not quite at grade level, how we can help them get to grade level and have those conversations. So that would be more with staff. And at the student level is really getting input from students, especially at the junior, senior high, so they have more engagement in what's happening in our school. So I would like to see more school spirit and reaching out to the students and saying, what do you want from us? And having them become more involved with some decisions within the school.
Yeah. And about school spirit, I kind of had this like kind of thought in my head. It was like, how does like that kind of compare to like when you were in school kind of thing? Like how does like how today compared to that as when you were in school?
When I was in school, and even I can remember the old gym, and it was just packed with games. It's not a very big place. I mean, space compared to the one here now. But the excitement and the students and the pep, we had a pep club, and the student section was filled, and the cheering, it was at every sport. It wasn't just at when you have a big competition. And so getting students to really want to be at the events to support their fellow classmates, and then also staff supporting students.
Yeah,
there is a difference. So I'm hoping to bring that back as student body president. What are your thoughts on how you can bring that enthusiasm back?
I think it's hard because I think a lot of people don't, and a lot of people say this, that like, oh, they kind of just don't care. But I think they just have like other things that they're either worried about, or they just don't really have like, they don't often like see like a reason to kind of go to it in a way. And I'm trying to think about it on how to like make them go. And I mean, it's hard, but I'd hope to at least try to maybe some more like encouragement, or making it more fun and making it more or less like more inclusive.
Okay.
In a way where if you're just like, oh, I kind of want to go, it seems kind of cool. You're not just like kind of like sitting on your own or whatever, and no one's like coming over and like talking to you or kind of letting you in or whatever. Because I feel like sometimes it can kind of be like that, like a bubble that you're on the outside of, and you're just kind of watching other people like how I have fun or whatever, and you're just kind of sitting there and you're not quite having fun yourself, like in a way.
So do you think if we did like theme nights, or because like homecoming week, that's a great example of what it looked like when I was growing up at almost every game, as far as the excitement for the students to be there. But you had themes or gadgets, whether it's pom-poms or lights or things like that. Do you think that would, as the students are coming in, if you give them objects, appropriate objects to use for cheering, do you think that would
I think
increase it?
Yeah, a lot of the theme nights I think are big thing, is because it kind of can get people in the door in a way, because they can like, oh, I have this cool thing I can put together, or outfit I can wear for this, and then you kind of become a part of that in a way. So I think, that'd probably be good.
So that might be something we should try this year. But I will definitely pick all your brains about that, because I do think you guys have a lot of great ideas, and I would like to hear how to get your adults think differently, of course. And so we need to listen to what you guys have that you would like to see.
Yeah. Because I always think of, last year is like the most I've ever seen like this gym like really going, and it was during the district girls basketball game against Mackey, and it was just it was packed. I remember student section was big, just like pink night student section's big, but it's not quite as like packed as like that, and loud and intense, and I love that. I think that's really cool.
Well, and even as a player, don't you enjoy that? It helps with your momentum and to get things rolling. Don't you, Phil?
I agree. I'd love to have that, but
All
hard
right.
thing to
As
get to.
student body president, those are things that we can have conversations about and bring in your friends and
Yep.
let's try some of this stuff.
I think that's great. Any last remarks or announcements before we end?
I think this is great. And like I said, I look forward to hearing your other podcasts.
Oh, thank you for your time, and thank you for everyone who decided to listen. Hopefully gonna get more, and yeah, thank you.